What's up, everybody? How you doing? This Hoop Narrative. It's your boy Fred Joe, and I'm here with my boy OT, man.
What's good? What's good, man?
Yeah, man. We got a special guest in the building today, OT.
I see, man. Seattle's very own.
Yeah, man. He's a legend around these parts, man. We want to welcome Jamal Crawford, man. A big round of applause for Maul, man. We want to thank you for coming on, Maul.
I appreciate it, bro. I've been watching and just waiting for my time to get on because I'm a
Yeah.
fan, bro. What y'all talking about, the content, what y'all doing, and it's much needed. So I'm excited to be on here.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man.
Definitely.
Want a little background. This Jamal drafted in the 2000s, round one, pick 8 to the Cleveland, instantly shipped to Chicago. You had some great things, man. Just a few notable things. 3-time sixth man of the year, and to ever score 50 points with 4 teams. Well, I'll talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah, bro. Like for real. Like when I was a kid, I used to dream about being in the NBA. Like we all have, you know what I mean? Like really, like I used to collect cards, so I could tell you everything about every single player because I was collecting cards. I used to sneak in the Sonic games. When I was in LA, I used to sneak in the Laker games. And I sneak in early enough where I would see them shooting pregame and they would have music playing, right? And not knowing they're just playing over loudspeakers, I'm thinking to myself, like, oh, okay, that's what the pros listen to. I'm about to go home and listen to that. Maybe it'll help my chances to get to the league. You know what I mean? So just all those things, bro. So to dream about those things and then accomplish, those things and like being the best league in the world and leave a mark and leave an imprint. Like it's a blessing, bro. I don't take it for granted. Like I'm humbled by it. Sometimes it still don't feel real. So for me, I'm just stuck in the moment and just feel thankful about what's behind me and the future.
That's good. That's good. One question I want to segue right into that, Maul. I want you to talk about is this your 19th season, correct?
Well, yeah, well, technically 20th with the bubble. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I want you to talk briefly about the key to playing that long of a career in the NBA. Just if you could, let the people know what it takes.
I think it takes a little bit of luck, to be honest with you, as far as health goes. I didn't do nothing to like abuse my body, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like I've never been into it. I think keeping the main thing was easiest for me, right? Because you know how it is. If you love the game, you're gonna put in extra work. You're gonna get in the cold tubs even when you don't feel like it. You're gonna foam roll when you don't feel like it. You're gonna get these massages. You're gonna change your diet because when you do that, it's more like a lifestyle. Like it ain't nothing you can fake do. You gotta do it all the way. You gotta commit to it. So I think part of that commitment is definitely the reason, why I played so long. And I didn't come into it like, oh, I'm gonna play 20 years. Right. I was more like I was gonna have a long career. At that time coming up, you play 10 years, 8 years, that's a long time in the NBA. You know what I mean? Because the average is 4 years. So if you play 8 years, 10 years, that's a long time. I've had like 2 long careers in one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a blessing, bro. Like, it just kept me sharp. I never got out of shape. I'm always in shape, ready to go. So for me, it's not the shocks of the body when I take months off and get back into it. I just don't take the months off. I look at it like if I took a job in New York, let's say, right?
Right.
And my house is here in Seattle, and nobody starts the car. Nobody turns on the lights, right? After a year coming back, that car's not going to run as smoothly.
Right.
The lights are going to be popping. You know what I mean? They're not going to work as smoothly. So I just keep my body running all summer long. It may not be the same intensity, but I'm doing something to stay active.
And I mean, anybody who lives or is from Seattle knows that about you. It ain't hard to just turn around or go to the gym, local gym, and they're gonna see you in there.
Yeah. For me, like it's that's just always been me, bro. I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. My last year in Chicago, we played the Sonics. And when you come to a city, wherever it is, you're getting out the city, whatever time, 3, 4 o'clock, drop your bags off, go see friends, whatever. I dropped my bags off and went to Green Lake and hooped outside for 3 hours the day before the game. This is in season, in a contract year, right? So I go and still played 3 hours. Me and Dub C went out there, played, and then I still killed the Suns. I had 31 the next day. You know what I mean? But just the love of the game, bro, it's always kept a hold on me. And even to this day, that's the reason why I'm still playing. It ain't financially, it ain't accolades, ain't none of that. Like, I just love the game. And whenever I retire, I'll be playing somewhere in a local gym near you. You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
and I'm a big Phoenix Suns fan. So
Okay.
Hey, you ain't gonna meet too many Suns fans, more. He's a
Yeah,
real
they
Suns fan.
they stand out for sure.
So now I definitely remember you, even like you said that, I mean, on multiple occasions, on when you signed to teams that you play for the love of the game still.
Yeah.
And I watched pretty much every game, the end of that, what was that, 18-19 season?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you went ham, bro. And like, tell me about like them last like few weeks, like what was going on like in your head, and then that 50
Yeah.
ball you drop.
So I'm gonna make it come full circle, bro. What it was when I first signed there. At the time, you being a Phoenix Suns fan, they ain't been in the playoffs in a minute. So they kind of told me like, we're trying to go for it. We just need vets at every position. Like we're trying to get to the playoffs. So you got myself, Tyson Chandler, Trevor Ariza, Ryan Anderson. So you got vets kind of sprinkled throughout the roster. Before the season started, a month into the season, Trevor's gone, Tyson's gone. It's just me and Ryan. So from that point, we're going young again. Well, I don't really, on the court at least, provide much for a team going young. So it became more leadership, right? So now you're dealing with battles. I'm away from my family for the first time. I flew home every single off day I had because my family was here. I got my first DNP that season against Boston because we're going young, right? So just that whole thing, but you can't fight it because then it's like, oh, well, he's not buying into the role. He's not, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, I got to make the best of it. So fast forward to that last month, we're still going young, but everybody's kind of hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so the month of April, they was like, just go hoop. I'm like, I can just hoop? They're like, just hoop. Bro, I averaged 31 and 6 off the bench. That's my highest scoring month in my career.
Yep.
Period. Mm-hmm. New York days, Clipper days, Bulls days, whenever. That was my highest scoring month in my career, and I did off the bench. I averaged 31 and 6. So another backstory, I knew going into that last game against Dallas, all I needed was 25. Because at that point, I think me, Kobe, and Kareem were the only people to score like 3 straight 25-point games at that age and at that part in their career.
Yeah.
So all I needed was 25. I had 25 going into the fourth quarter. And I've had 50 numerous times, so I know what it feels like. So it still didn't feel like 50.
Yeah.
But I scored 13 the first 4 minutes of the fourth. And I had 38 with 8 minutes to go. And that's when it went off in my head, like, oh, this is a 50 night. Like, I knew it at that point. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't the script going into it. And then you get rolling, bro. I promise to God, I felt like I was just in the backyard. I felt like I was in open gym. I felt like I was just at pro-am, just hooping. And my teammates was finding me, coach drawing up some great plays. I always say that when you score that many points, it's never just you. It's somebody setting the screen, it's somebody getting the ball, it's somebody drawing the play. And so they kind of just rolled with it. And we was down. It was Dirk's last night, so we wasn't going to win. They wasn't going to let us win his last home game. But we was down like 25 and got to within 2, right? And it was crazy. Like, it was crazy. And then to get 50 and be the only player to ever score 50 on 4 different teams and to break Michael Jordan's record for age, scoring 50, and then to be the only player to ever score 50. I mean, that much off the bench. Like, it was 3 records broken that night. And that was God, bro. I was thankful.
And people don't understand, what it takes, Mo. I want you to briefly talk about like what it takes being in Phoenix, a team that's losing. What's the mental like being able to, sit on the bench, play when you're needed, and then the last 2 weeks of the season they say, Mo, we need you to hoop. Like, guys don't understand there's a difference between pros and professionals. Talk about that.
Bro, they don't understand, like you said, because more than anything, it's the mental challenges, right? Because not only am I fighting, this ain't what I signed up for. Right, you know what I mean? Like, I'm also fighting the age thing. Oh, he ain't doing it because he's older now. I'm like, nah, it's not that. I just ain't got the opportunity to do it.
Right. But
if I come out and tell y'all that, you're going to say, oh, it's all about him. He's a cancer. So it's like you're fighting all these battles, and I had so much time to think, right? Because my family's out there. So I'm really I had nothing to bounce that off of. So I just went to the gym at night. I go at night. The game I didn't play against Boston was my first DNP in my career. I didn't know I wasn't going to play none of that. After the game, Boston saw me working out in the practice gym, right there on the spot. I'm working out for hours. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was my refuge. So it's like somebody screaming, not for help, but almost screaming like, hey, I'm here, and you're kind of invisible. I'm like, man, I know I can hoop. I know I can hoop. If I couldn't, I'd be the first to say, like, no, I can't hoop. I can't keep up. But I know I can hoop. but you're not getting a chance to show that. That's why that last month for me personally was like validation. Like I've been telling y'all, like I can do this in my sleep. You know what I'm saying? So that part of staying professional, not blowing up, you know, not going off on coaches, not going off on, not being selfish. So, another thing, when I did play, I played point guard.
Yep.
So everybody knows me, I'm a scorer, right? So I wasn't even trying to get in their way. I'm like, nah, I had my time to kind of be the guy. I understand it. I'm gonna help y'all grow. So Booker, DeAndre Ayton, they love playing with me because I was like, here, y'all got it. I'm gonna get you the ball. I'm gonna get you easy shots, just knowing the game. You know what I mean? So many different challenges, and that was one of the things I was most proud about, was how that season ended up from where it started. And like you said, the mental toughness and being a professional every single day, never being late, always being early, always getting my extra work in. Like that stuff mattered to me.
And, you know, talking about like, you know, you getting that chance to finally get back in the league towards the end of the season this past season, that was like one of the biggest shocks around the NBA world is, I mean, especially real hoopers and people who really love the game, really not understanding, especially after what you literally just did at the end of the season, that, you know, that you weren't on a team to begin the NBA season.
Bro, it was so crazy because not only what I did on the court, the year before, I won teammate of the year in the NBA.
Yeah, definitely.
Bro, I was more proud about that. I was more proud about that than any of my 6-man awards, any 50-point games, because that's a testament to character to me. That's like truly wanting somebody else, the person next to you, to be even more successful than you are, and really caring about that every single day. And for the whole league, I didn't just win it for my team, I won it for the league. So for the league to take notice, and if you look at the guys who's won it, Vince Carter, Chauncey Billups, Tim Duncan, Shane Battier.
Hall of Famers.
Bro, and these are like class character guys, right? So for me to win it, I'm like, okay, so they know I'm a good dude. I showed I can still play. That's why it was such a riddle on Twitter for everybody. That's why it was so crazy. You know what I mean? Like, how can this dude not sign? Even if I couldn't play, the knowledge and veteran leadership, if he's a good dude, why wouldn't you want him in your locker room? Right? But the fact he could play, that's when people scratching their head like, man. So I had moments there where I would scratch my head, I would go crazy and like be upset about it. But then I looked at it, it got to a point where I was like, you know what, it's out of my hands. God must be saying, you know what, I want you to spend more time with your family. Because there was stuff I was able to attend that I missed for years. You know what I mean? So I took it and looked at it as a blessing, bro.
That's big.
And, you know, just even like talking about like that, you go from, you know, being, I mean, arguably probably the best 6-man to ever play this game. People who don't even like ain't seen you even before off like the NBA court, in my opinion, you're also, like I said, one of the smartest basketball players to ever play this game. I think people get how flashy you play.
Yeah, that
don't really see
that's
that.
the riddle for me. That's the Chinese riddle, right? They see my tattoos, they see the flag, then they hear me talk and they see me, they're like, hold on, this ain't really adding up. You know what I mean? They didn't have me pegged the right way. And I've been through it my whole career and whole life, bro. Like, people don't know, like, I won a championship in high school as a point guard. I went to the NBA as a point guard, but they never really figured out what to do with me because I could score so easy as well. So they was like, well, and at that time in the NBA, it wasn't like positionless basketball. Like, you were a point guard or you were a shooting guard or you were this, right? So once I started scoring a lot, they're like, okay, you're a shooting guard. Think about, like, remember AI and Stephon Marbury used to get criticized. They're like, oh, he ain't passing the ball, he ain't playing. You know what I mean? Now that player is end all be all. They're everything now.
It don't matter now.
You know what I mean? So it's amazing how the game has changed in that regard. But for me, to your point, like, I could do either one. Then it's like, oh, I was like, I'll come off the bench. I was that confident in my game that it didn't matter what adversity, whatever role you wanted me to put in, I felt like I could flourish in that role. It's like being in a band, right? You're supposed to just play the drums. And I'm gonna go sing now. Now I'm gonna play the piano. Now they're like, man, hold on, what we doing with this dude? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how it was.
Yeah.
I think
okay, Mal.
Go ahead, Fred.
No, I was going to fast forward just a little bit. I wanted you to talk a little bit about what the bubble was like, Mal. Signing to the Brooklyn Nets, going into the bubble with the young Karis LeVert, the Jared Allen, guys like that. Talk about that.
So first off, I had conversations with Brooklyn early in the season. So people don't know, out of all the people in the league, Katie and Kai are probably two of the ones I'm closest to that's not like from the town. You know what I'm saying? Like, them two, along with LaMarcus, along with D Rose, them was ones like, and Jimmy Butler, like them is ones that are like, we tight. So I had talked to them early in the season, but then when everything happened with COVID, my agent was like, man, this is real. Like they want to bring you in. I'm like, for real? But I've been hearing that not just from them, from other teams all year. So I don't want to get my hopes up. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been on pins and needles the whole time.
Twitter was going crazy. They was like, man, Marnie to get on. You know, everybody felt like you should have been on the team, man. So.
Right. So, and then you get to the bubble, you don't know what to expect. From the testing to what practice is going to look like how are we going to all be around each other and no infections or nothing happen, right? So we don't know what to think. So they lock it down to where you get tested every single day. They put 8 teams in each hotel. And our hotel was Dallas, Memphis, Indiana, Orlando, Philly, OKC, Houston, and us. So we saw each other every day, shared the pool, everything. We got the meal rooms, test everything. The thing I'll say about the bubble is that if you love the game, if you truly love the game, it's for you. It's for you because you practice, you can go back at night. There was times me and Karis went back at night. Me and Vert went back at night, and there'd be Westbrook on the other end shooting. You know what I mean? Just getting it in. So it's like, if you love it, if you love the game, you're going to love the bubble. If you don't love it, you're like, man, this is getting boring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Otis talked about that too. It showed for a lot of guys.
Yeah, or just a mental challenge of, not having nobody to kind of bounce that from. Thank God for FaceTime, but I was able to still pull off stuff I needed to pull off as far as like working out my son. I do it virtually on FaceTime. It's just like stuff like that. But if you love hoop, it's for you. It was all the way for you. And it's a hooper's gym. It's like playing open gym or like playing pro. That's why you see so many role players showing out because there's no pressure.
I remember playing their 8th grade nationals. Nationals. So yeah,
it's just for hoopers, bro. So that part of it, I love for sure.
Yeah.
Man, what was your thought when in that first game back? You got it on a roll before you got.
I'm gonna tell you my thought, bro. This is no lie.
You was cooking too.
Bro, I may have been the best player for 5 minutes out there.
Yeah, facts.
So I have practice, right? And I've been practicing. In the practices for my teammates and for the coaches and for everybody with the Nets, the game looked just like the practices did.
Yeah.
So it didn't shock them. The only part that shocked them was, man, he hasn't played an actual game in 16 months.
Yeah.
And I'm not just coming back against a team that was weak. At the time, they were number 1 in the league. Like I'm coming back against I was like, no, I want to play against them. Right. So I'm coming back against the best team. And so even when I was out there the first time, I never forget, up and down, I went, ooh, this kind of feel weird just being 5-on-5. Usually I play 5-on-5 all the time. With the virus, I stopped playing 5s in March. And that was kind of a part that kind of got me because I hadn't played 5. Usually I play 5-on-5 every other day of my life. So that's the part that got me. But anyways, once I had 3 assists before I took a shot.
Yeah.
Right. So once I hit the first shot, then I scored again. And I'm looking at who's guarding me, and I'm looking at their eyes. And now they're starting to look around for help when I'm coming down the court. I'm like, oh, I got him. I was like, bro, I said, I'm about to paint a masterpiece.
Right,
I was like, I'm back moving. I promise you, I was like, I'm about to paint a masterpiece. I promise you, every minute I would have played, if I'd have played, I had in 5 minutes, I had 5 points and 3 assists.
Yeah.
If I'd have played 20 minutes, I was gonna have 20 points and 8 assists.
Yeah.
Whatever minute I played, I was gonna have a point. I promise you. Because I figured, I was like, oh, it's back. And I thought it would take longer to come back. It was back. I'm like, oh, it's back.
Yeah.
And my team was lifted. Like the energy, they was like, man, you know what I mean? Like it gave them some fuel, and that was dope.
So right now you're going into year 20 more. I'm pretty sure we all know the answer. Is the goal to be playing on an NBA team at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. And I realistically think it's going to happen. And I don't think it'll take as long as it did before. Bro, in those 5 minutes, this is no lie. I had so many messages.
Wow.
I didn't have as many messages when I signed, but I had messages from people in the league like, man, it looked like you ain't missed a beat.
Man, I feel like the whole town like tuned into that game like it was a playoff.
Yeah. So it was almost like, in a weird way, it was almost like those 5 minutes did for me what the 50-point game couldn't do for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was almost like those 5 minutes, people were like, oh, he still got it. We gonna holler at him next year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have no doubt I'll be playing this year, and it won't be as long.
So the three stints that I feel like that you're best known for is the stint with Golden State,
Mm-hmm.
the stint with the Atlanta Hawks, and the stint with the Clippers.
Mm.
Where do you feel was your best stop, even on and off the court? Where do you feel like you evolved the most?
You know, it's crazy. I don't know if y'all seen the Player Tribune, but I talked about this in a different way. So for me, I love all of them because they were all a different challenge, right? So, and it's like if you're an actor in a movie, right? Let's say you're Tupac in Above the Rim. You still Tupac, but this movie in let's say Juice, you may not have as big a role. It may not be centered around you. So you're still the same dude. It's just maybe a different role. And I look at like albums, like everybody has their favorite. Who's your favorite artist, OT?
I'm gonna go J. Cole right now.
Cole, right? So some people love Forest Hills Drive. Other people love maybe one of his mixtapes.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights, right? Yeah. So that's my thing. It's not that he's not a different Cole. It's just which one do you like? Yeah. So for me, like if I was going to compare my career in albums, Golden State was like that slept-on album that was dope, right? But not too many people saw it because we didn't win.
Yep, agreed.
To me, the Knicks, a lot of people think the Knicks was like the best version of me. But that was like where I was kind of centered to be, hey, it's your ball, go do what you do. So it wasn't that I was any different in LA. It's just LA, I was coming off the bench. But I was still the same dude. But some people, that was their favorite album, right? The Clippers, because we was on the best team, so we was exposed to more. People saw us more. So it just all depends. And for me, something like Phoenix, the numbers won't show that, but knowing mentally what I had to go through to get to that point was fulfilling for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it just depends. It just depends, bro. What was your favorite? I should say. What was your favorite version or favorite Crawford or whatever?
I'm gonna start off with like personally, I say Golden State was really a highlight to watch you there. I thought Don Nelson and his up and down system was perfect.
Would have fit perfect, yeah. I did too.
And then go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you got it.
But I will say that I thought seeing you being able to compete night in, night out. Plus, Mom Dukes is a big Clippers fan, so
okay.
I'm gonna say Clippers was definitely up there too.
The Clippers the Clippers was for me because that was at a point where I feel like Maul got a chance to really win right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and he's not just somebody on the team. He's one of the integral parts of the team.
Yeah, I was one of the key pieces.
Like that, that meant something for the town. Like watching that, like where all the Lob City stuff was going on. But Maul's doing his thing too, though.
Right.
So that meant a lot to me just to be able to see that, and for you to be able to win, because I know even outside of basketball, like that means a lot to you.
That means everything to me. It's crazy because Karis LeVert went on a podcast with CC Sabathia. And it was like, what part shocked you most about Jamal? And he was like, you know what? And he kind of said what you said, OT. Like, people see him from a distance and they see the flash and they see how he plays. He said, this dude wants to win more than anybody I ever met. He was like, winning's everything to him. He said, if I lose a shooting drill, I'm going to hear about it later. If I lose a scrimmage, I'm going to hear about it later. So, like, that part of it is everything to me. You know what I mean? And so, and he said if he was with me early in his career, just that mindset. He's like, I care about, you guys should look it up. He's like, I care about winning. But that dude's like on a whole nother level with it. Like I would have even been even better at this point. So just like stuff like that. But you're right.
And that's a reason why too, why you won Teammate of the Year, and even just talking about you transitioning to even be more of a role model to the young guys. Talk about, I mean, it's personally a question for me. What was the relationship like between, firstly, even you being, actually, no, you guys are around the same age. What was your relationship like with Kobe?
Oh, man. Wow. So it evolved, right? It evolved from me just being scared to talk to him. Like, you know what I mean? That's Kobe, bro. Like, out of all the people I played against, like, even the stars would tell you, like, Kobe was just different. So it went from that to then, like, we got into it in the game, not in a bad way. Like, I went off. Like, it was the game. You can look it up. It was a game where he scored. He was the youngest to score 20,000 points. And I scored 30 and a half. And I kind of got it. And we came all the way back. We ended up losing, but I got his respect. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, okay. So Then it evolved. Then I remember one time, the first time we really like talked was when after a game in Atlanta, my first year in Atlanta, and we beat him. And he was standing over there with Monica and Shannon Brown. I'll never forget. I was in the hallway in the back. He said, "Man, can't nobody go all that shit. I can cuss on here, my fault."
No, you good. You good.
Oh, okay,
You good. You good.
I just came out naturally. Like, "Man, can't nobody go all that shit." I'm like, "What?" I'm looking because we ain't never talked like that. So I'm looking. Hold up. He's like, "Yeah, you, man. Look, can't nobody go all that." He's doing his hand like, "Can't nobody do all that shit, man. Can't nobody go all that." And we just kind of went from there. So then that was in Atlanta. So then I go to LA. And I start seeing him more. And then my son, was that first? No, it was the second time. So then what happened was the pro-am happened. Mm-hmm. We up here and it was the Sherman game. Mm-hmm. And we kind of around each other talking, love, and I'm like, man, I do not want to ask this dude. He just got a different aura. I'm like, man, I said, Cole. I finally got enough courage after like the end of the day, bro. I'm like, Cole, man, everybody think you coming to pro-am, man. I'm like, man, everybody think you coming to pro-am, man. Can you stop by? He's like, you playing? I said, yeah. He said, I'm gonna come. And one of the dudes with him was like, no, we got to get back to LA. He's like, no, I'm going. He brought his whole family, bro. Okay, last minute. And he had every reason in the world to be like, nah, I'll come back or anything. He's like, no, I'm coming. And he came to the game. So from that point on, now we start texting. Like, it's love. I remember one time, my son, JJ.
Yeah, little JJ.
Yeah, because the Clippers and the Lakers, we just played. And he was like, he saw Kobe. He was like, Dad, can I talk to Kobe? I'm like, yeah. So he was like, he's like, will you come to my house so I can play you one-on-one? And Kobe was like, hold on, you gonna try to beat me in front of you? Like, you gonna try to cross me? He said, you gonna try to cross me over in front like your dad? And Jay was like, yeah. He said, nah, you wouldn't beat me. He said, but don't ever lose that mentality. He told JJ that. Like, don't ever lose that mentality. And so that was the conversation. I said, JJ, you want a picture with him? And Jay's like, nah, I'm cool. And Kobe scooped him up like, nah, you taking a picture with me. And I got the picture. But just like, I'll show you guys this. I don't know if you can see this type of different stuff. It's in my office.
Oh, okay.
Let me know if you can see. Hold up. You see his shoes?
Yeah.
I see the shoes.
Yeah, he signed it. That was the last time we played. He signed his shoes.
Damn.
You see it?
That's crazy.
That's classic, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. He said,
come on, man. You see us in the case, man. That's real deal right there.
He said to Jamal, great competing against you, my man, Kobe Bryant.
It's crazy how much he respects the people that really compete against him. Not
his whole thing is competition, bro. So so that was just, and our relationship just evolved, bro. Like, think about it. Like, Body Armor is one of the sponsors for our pro-am. He's part owner of Body Armor. Like, so our relationship just evolved, bro, to the point where we was texting and everything.
Yeah, man. Shout out Kobe Bryant, Rip Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, for sure.
You're now listening to Hoop Podcast.
I got another picture. This was the game I was talking about.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was okay. Yep.
Yeah.
That was when we wore the classics, huh?
Yep.
Lakers wore the classics, huh?
Yep. That's exactly what it was, bro. Yeah. He was. Yep.
You got some good stuff back there.
Yeah, come on, man.
I got some stuff back here, man. I don't know if you can see that one.
Yeah, if you got anything Kobe, boy,
is that Hov? Man.
Yeah.
Man. Come on, you know Maul was Team Rock hooping in those, man. Come
definitely. On. Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you see that one?
What's that?
I'm showing y'all exclusive stuff. Hold on. Let me see if y'all can see this. I don't know if you can see it. Hold up. Can you see it?
Yep.
The GOAT.
Yeah, so just exclusive stuff, man. In here, but yeah, bro.
And you touched on that. The Mall League, and being from Seattle, we've all done watched it grow to what it is now.
Yeah.
And I remember. Just like yesterday when y'all had the Julie come pull up. That was like the height of like pro-ams. It's like people now, I think, really saw the skill set and what we got out here in Seattle.
Right.
We need our respect. How you feel about the respect Seattle gets in the hoop game?
It's getting more, bro, to be honest with you, because to be all the way honest, when I
Man,
was
the
coming out of high
pro-am's
school,
the pro-am's on a video game, man.
come
Like
on,
the
bro, that's
evolution's
crazy. EA
crazy.
Sports, right?
Yeah.
Even Doug Christie, who passed the pro-am to me, was like,
Shout out Doug. Yep, I remember when it
shout
was at
out the
Beach.
legend.
Yep.
He was like, bro, y'all on a video game? Like, just so when it's a trip to watch him come back and look at pro, and like, man, some of the things he wasn't even probably thinking of. He's thinking of just getting guys to run the city and get them some exposure. But we just continue to let it grow, bro. But like when I was coming out of high school, it was a big thing to go D1.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you went to Washington or Michigan, North Carolina, it was like going to the NBA, bro.
Yeah.
Because you knew people in your hood and your community was gonna be able to see you on TV. Like that was like a big thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like seeing Jason Terry, seeing Doug Christie, seeing Mike D. Buddha Edwards was kind of further ahead, but seeing those guys especially was like, man, like it was almost like a dream.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you see more guys start to come through and not even necessarily make the NBA, just continue to play college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Fred, you going to SU, bro? Like that was like seeing those things, bro, and the evolution and shit. Like that was so dope, bro. And now, like,
a lot of people don't know I was Cam's first recruit.
See what I'm saying? And now kids believe they can go to the NBA from our neighborhood, from our city. Yeah. And that's what it's about. Because before I didn't like. It was more so just going.
Even if you don't make it, just having the opportunity,
having the belief that you can, right? You're gonna put the work in to get it, and you don't have to. I'm not saying this is NBA or bust. I'm just saying in general for the kids to have a belief that they can do it, because that wasn't the case before.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, because even if you shoot for the moon and land on the stars, right? It don't mean you can't go have an impact somewhere or another, bro. Like it just means like you have something huge to shoot for.
Yep.
You know, I don't think there's not one team, not one player or anything there's nothing bigger than I feel like JAMAL Crawford when it comes to culture of Seattle basketball. And you know, you've laid your stomping grounds down, and you've paved the way for a lot of these, especially I mean what we've seen, Fred, a lot of these young guys now coming up. I mean, they've came through and you know have been guided in somewhat by you, Maul. Like
not to cut you off, but to be honest with you, it's crazy. Me and Baby Boy was just talking about this last night. I promise to God. And he kind of said what you said. And I said, yeah, but the coolest thing about it, bro, isn't that like looked at like this. The coolest part about it is I really can have an effect on the generations coming up behind me.
I was just getting ready to ask you too about that mentorship.
Yeah, they can change their surroundings. And they can change their community. Yeah. And then each one, you can do it. I did it. You can do it too. Now you go get him. Now you go get him. And before you know it, we all stronger because we all like reaching back together next one. You know what I'm saying? This don't mean NBA or bust. This is like just be like give yourself a chance to uplift your community, uplift your people, and make your surroundings better. Yeah. You can go across the water, play 10 years and do great. You can be around the game. You can be somebody behind the camera doing, you know what I mean? Like whatever it is. Like help somebody out if you can, bro, especially in our, and I think that's what makes our community special.
I tell people all the time I didn't have to go to the NBA for hoop to change my life. So
not at all. Not at all, bro.
But you hear a lot of these young guys nowadays, you know, the Zachs, the Baby Boys, and you know, the Marquise Chris's and the T Stibles, a lot of guys, they talk about, you know, what you mean, you know what I mean? Even guys that are in high school, down in middle school, they all talk about how important you are to the city and, you know, just being somebody that's of access and, you know, always being humble, you know what I mean? Always giving back, always lending an ear.
Bro, and that's a blessing because I never did it for that. You can ask any of them. I never asked them for one thing. The whole thing was Doug Christie did it for me. Gary Payton did it for me. Sean Kemp did it for me. Yeah. And I know how important it was to me that they did that. Right. So I was like, man, if I could do this for my community, I didn't think of one person. I'm like, if I could do this for my community, man, then they do it, then they do like that's just a blessing. Keep
sending that elevator down.
Man, always, right? Always. I don't care who you are. And that's the only thing I ask for any of them is to keep sending it down, bro. Go get some more. Keep sending it down. Get some and just until it'll never stop. Mm-hmm. That's when something outlives you. Right? When the legacy part of it, when you can look back like, man, 5,000 people right here benefited one way or another, and they, you know, help their community, and they're doing things the right way, and they're about to help another 5,000. it ain't about me no more. Like it's
Yeah.
about us continuing that culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I mean Seattle's in great hands right now when it comes to the
Yeah.
hoop world. And you mean you see a lot of youngins coming up. You're still out there in the community. Your face is always out on the open. You're accessible to a lot of these young guys.
Bro, and that's not gonna never change. Like my
Right.
sister told me something a long time ago, and it stuck with me for life. If you come into a lot of fame, a lot of money, whatever it might be, you become a bigger version of what you already were. If you were somebody who stunted on people before you had money, now you get money, you really about to stunt on it. If you was a giver, somebody who looked out for people, now that you got more money, you really about to look out for them. You just become a bigger version of what you already were. Yep. And so for me, I've always been this person. So it wasn't like I had to make a transformation, none of that. I just had more in abundance to help with because I've always been the helper. I remember giving somebody that didn't have a place to stay. I remember I bought a pizza with a 50 and I think I got like 45 back. I gave the whole 45. I didn't know where my next was coming from, but I just felt like it was the right thing to do. So it's always been that for me.
Yeah, man. Like I said, we see that all across the city. And speaking of the city, so I don't know if you know. So you know a name of Philip Heath?
Come on, man. Of course, that's my brother.
Yeah, so that's my uncle.
But get out of here.
Yeah.
For real?
Swear.
Hey, let me tell you a story, full circle story about Phil, bro. And this is no lie, he'll tell you. So, we played together at Beach. I got a couple. Let me tell you two stories. Yep. One story. So we played together at Beach. And Phil, I stole his Brian McKnight. Not stole it. I did end up stealing it. He let me borrow his Brian McKnight CD.
Yeah.
I never gave it back. I was like, oh, I forgot I lost it. Whatever, right? To think 16 years later, Brian McKnight would be singing at my wedding and Phil was there.
That's crazy.
So me and Phil, I'm at the wedding. I'm like, Phil, bro, did you ever think when I took your CD, bro, that Brian McKnight was sitting at our wedding? That's one story, right? So we was just thinking and just thankful. And the second story was, like you said, I be in local gyms all the time, and they get excited sometimes. Philip walked in, bro. It was like Michael Jordan walked in their world. Yeah. They lost it.
It's crazy.
They lost it, bro. And that's dope for me. Like, dang, like I get to sit back and look at like, dang, bro, you got these people going crazy.
We have been with him at his Mr. Olympia shows in Vegas. Me and Otis have been with him. And it's crazy.
God.
Hey, ask him. I've used him numerous times when people tell me they love him and they have no idea we're connected. I call, my friend, put him on the phone. They be like, what? Hold up. It's like they talk to Jordan, bro. And that's dope. I'm really, really happy for him.
That's what's up. Yeah. Talking about that's dope. One thing I wanted to ask you, Mo, a lot of people don't know you went to California before you came back your junior year to Rainier Beach. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, did anything happen in your life or basketball wise that elevated your game? Because I didn't get to see you play before you left, but all I heard when you came back junior year, like, this is the dude. Like,
yeah,
no question about it. So I want to know, did something happen in Cali, or did it click down there, or did it click in Seattle?
It clicked. I'm gonna tell you what happened. So before I left, my team was really good. I was just playing. I guess it would be considered in-house at the time. I played for Rotary. It was young. My Rotary's like the AU team. When all we did was go to Reno and Vegas.
Everybody went through in-house.
Yeah, all right. But for Beach, it was Rainier Beach Community. So I was playing for Community Center. But we was good. But I was like, I'll never forget it, bro. I stayed with my same coach too, from 8 all the way until I left to 13. So 8 years old, bro, you know how it is. 2-line layups. Kids barely getting the ball up, bro. I'm going behind my back, doing like backwards jellies, bro, at 8. So they looking like, hold up, what? So then I started playing center, but I was playing point guard on offense, center on defense, because I was a little taller. So the talent was always there.
Yeah.
I moved to LA. I spent a lot of time in the backyard just by myself. I always tell kids that. I'm like, man, if you love something, nobody has to push you towards it. You're going to find yourself spending all your time doing that, right? So I was always doing that. And then I start growing. I get a little taller. I'm probably like 6'2" when I go into 9th grade. But I start playing against Baron Davis, Kenny Bruner, Shea Cotton. So I'm ineligible, by the way. Freshman, sophomore year, I make varsity, I'm ineligible. So all my runners come in the summer in backyard. So right before I left to come back up here at 16, it clicked. Like it clicked.
Yeah,
like
I heard
15,
it clicked.
Nah, like 15, it clicked, right? So before I come up here, I'm like, okay, I'm official now. The talent I thought I had, because I just wasn't as confident.
Yeah.
But the talent I thought I had was already there. Skill set was already there. So I'm like, all right. So then the mentality changed. Like, no, they can't mess with you. Like, I started having success against them. So when I came back here at 16, it became, I remember, bro, I was a rapper on this mixtape circuit. I'm at Rainier Beach. I'm at Miller. I'm at Garfield. I'm at Franklin. I'm at Late Night. Wherever there was a run, I'm there.
Yeah.
So the word, it's before social media, so the word started traveling. Like, you remember Lil Jamal? Like, he's back. He's tall, too. He's tall. He's back. So I come back at 6'4", right? And so when I come back, come here. When I come back, come say what's up. JJ just walked in.
Good, JJ.
Okay. Say what's up.
Hello, Juan.
What's up, Blake?
I told you a Kobe story when you walked up on Kobe. Yeah. But so when I come back, the word's traveling fast, right? And I'm like, all right. So I'm doing my thing, and then I get invited to the pro-am. At the time, only me and Doug Wren are the only high school kids playing in the pro-am. Sean Kemp, Doug Christie, Damon Stoudemire, Yinkadari, Cliff Robinson, rest in peace. And by the end of it, I'm averaging 30. So now the whole city is like, hold up, we got this here, right? Yeah. So I'm going to Sonic, bro. I'm going to Sonic's facility at 16. I'm playing against the Sonics at 16, and I'm killing. So when I'm thinking, like, if I'm killing or having success, I need to be humble. Let me tell the truth. I'm having success against pros, right? I went too far right there, my bad. I'm having success against pros.
Yeah.
I'm like, when I get back to high school, oh, it's over. I don't even see nobody. So I was like, we're going to win a championship. I didn't care about making all state. I didn't state player. None of that. I didn't care about no stats. I was like, we're going to win a championship. It's going to be a show every night. And that's what we did. King, shout out Ricky Frazier. You already know. So that's how it went. That's how it went, bro. I was on it. But the Sonics started coming to my games. Like,
I heard it was crazy.
And you got Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and them. Bro, I just showed Paulo this. I was like, how many people was at your state tournament? It's like, it was, probably 10,000, 12,000. I said when he was at Michael Porter's. He was like, there was a lot there. I said, okay, I looked it up. Michael Porter's like 29,000 for the state tournament. I don't know if you know this, Fred. To this day, we got the state tournament record. It was 59,000 people at the state tournament.
Nah, I definitely didn't know that.
Bro, it was at the King Dome. King Griffey Jr. was there. Eric Metcalf was there. The buzz went out of control. This before social media.
That's crazy.
So our team, we felt like we was the Bulls or the Lakers, bro.
We got the city out and more.
Bro, at this time, I'm gonna be honest with you. At this time, Gary Payton is the most popular player in the whole city. Sean Kemp's the second most popular player. They're right there.
Yeah.
I may have been top 3 or 4 most popular players in high school.
Right. That's right.
And I think I'm not saying in a like a boast, sticking my chest out. I'm saying like in a disbelief. Like as I say it, it's still like damn. Like, for real, like you know what I mean?
Everything I heard was of that. Trust me,
man. Fred, I had like front row tickets for. Like I said, I mean, me and Grandpa used to go to every game, and I just be in awe after every game. Just like the crowd you're bringing in at Rainier Beach, and it's like what's going on. I was just amazed.
Yeah, and I mean, and we were so connected as a team. That was so dope about it. Right, like we were so connected. It wasn't just me. Like it was Phil. It was Dave King. It was Ricky Frazier. It was Tim Ellis. I mean, Marquise Smith, who didn't score a lot, but he played his role. He's like our Dennis Rodman. Like we needed everybody. So it was dope. It was Coach Mike's first championship too. So that was dope.
Ooh, okay. That started it off.
That started it.
Yeah.
98 or 03, Maul.
Who was 03's team? That's not the Twins, right?
Rod, Nate. DJ.
They was tough, bro. They was tough. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the best team though may have been the 14 team. With Baby Boy.
Ooh, that team was tough.
It was
Shaquan Aaron.
They had dogs.
They had dogs. Bro.
They had dogs.
You say that though. That's crazy.
Piper,
that's DeJuan Piper.
Elijah. Yeah, they
had guys.
Crazy. Yeah, they may have been. Like they may have been for sure.
Damn, okay, folks, you guys heard that here first. Not 03, not 98.
03, yeah. 03 was cool. But remember, like, for a while, I think 14, we may have been 1 and 2 in the country.
Yeah,
they was up there, bro.
And they went back to back too, right, Maul?
Yeah, they won 3.
Yeah, 3, you're right.
Yes, they did.
They won 3.
They did.
Yeah, they had it, bro. I can't fight that.
Well, what do you see? What do you see for yourself? Do you see yourself maybe whenever basketball does
Yeah.
influence on the court? Do you see yourself still sticking like in the NBA world of maybe coaching, front office?
Not coaching, not
Uh-huh.
coaching, but I can see myself like because I love the game so much. I can see myself in the front office or broadcasting.
Okay.
Okay.
I could easily see either one of those. But I love like putting teams together and kind of seeing how pieces fit. And I love talent. And I love discovering talent and like so. Yeah, like I could see myself doing that for sure.
And we talk about that a lot. The NBA needs to start getting more basketball guys like you in the front office that
Yeah,
really, you know what I mean, that really know the game, really been part of the game, really could like put together a team. You know what I mean? Like we need more
yeah.
guys like you.
That's what I'm loving seeing. Like Jameer Nelson just got with Philly,
Yep.
like
Yep.
out
Mhm.
right. Ty Lue obviously coaching. Like I'm loving
Chauncey.
seeing Chauncey being an associate head coach. Like I'm
Mhm.
loving seeing like true basketball minds. Like you know what it's like to be in that locker room, and you know what I mean. Like seeing people who really know this, like get a chance to kind of have. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with analytic groups and all that. I'm just saying like to have people
Right.
who gave
Right.
blood, sweat, and tears who know this, be a part of this dope too. Yeah.
Mhm.
No predecessor to Coach Mike.
No. I couldn't play. I couldn't. You know what? If I had to coach, it's crazy because like 6-7 years ago, I was like, I'll coach high school. But now, like I like helping out, but I like helping out kids from all over high school wise. To be honest with you, like I like helping out kids at Garfield, Beach, Franklin, wherever. So
Coaching
if I
puts a
was,
cap on that.
yeah, it does, and I wouldn't want that. But I would coach younger kids. Like I would coach because this is like the foundation, right, for their basketball careers, however long it is. So I would love to coach 9, 10, 11, 12, kind of pre-high school. That'd be fun.
Speaking of that, what do you think about like what B. Roy's doing over at Garfield right now?
Yeah, it's dope to see, right? Like, especially him, he's actually walked those hallways.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it means more to you when you went to that school because you want to see them do well, and the pride you have is that school, and he's had an enormous amount of success, and I think, players hearing from him, like, B. Roy's a legend. So players hearing from him and getting it from him, it rings differently. You know what I mean? Just knowing that he's seen the top of the top and not saying that's against nobody else. It's just the fact that like he's seen that. He may have been some of their favorite players growing up. You know what I mean? Like to be able to get coached by him is dope.
Okay, yeah. I just want to, say one thing before we get you up out of here, Mo. I want you to talk briefly about just staying in the gym, hard work. What is it? What would you say for the guys in college that are coming into the NBA regardless, number one pick? What would you say about hard work and character to those guys?
Yeah, I would say keep the main thing the main thing. Stay in love with it. Like to me, so many people love all the things that come along with it instead of still like loving the game. Not saying you can't do other things. Not
My
saying
guy Clint Parks, he always says that. He always
that's real,
says
bro.
that.
And you don't have to. I'm not saying you can't have other interests. I'm not saying you can't do other things, but keep the main thing the main thing. Like stay in love with the process. If you stay in love with the process, the results are gonna come. Will they come tomorrow, a year from now, 5 years from now? At some point, if you stay in love with the grind of it, it's gonna show up. You know what I mean? So I would think just staying in love with it. Don't be distracted. It's so easy to get distracted nowadays.
The extras.
So many things. The extras, bro. It's so many extras and distractions out there. Just stay in love with it and be a kid. And what I mean by that is always be curious. And I heard Kobe say that before, like always be curious, always ask questions, always find out information. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth so you can listen twice as much as you talk. Kevin Garnett told me that. And that's real. Like, don't have all the answers. When you see a veteran or somebody's been down there trying to make your job easier and trying to help you have a longer career, listen to him, man. Listen to them vets. You know what I mean? They're going to guard you the right way. So I think if you do those things, you'll have a successful career.
This is coming from somebody who's about to enter his 20th year in the NBA. So I think this is some real truth that you want to hear for all the youngins out there.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. And I appreciate y'all having me on, bro. Like for real. Like I'm glad that you guys want me on, and hopefully it does well. I'm gonna blow it up. You already know.
Oh
Appreciate you.
man, we definitely
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. We definitely got to have you back down the road.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2. We'll after the season starts,
Yeah.
we'll do a
Yeah.
part 2.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, that'd be dope. We'll catch up then.
All right, man. You guys heard it here first. Seattle legend, 6th man of the year, Jamal Crawford on Hoop Narrative, episode 6. Man, it's your boy OT.
And I'm Fred Dro.
All
Hey,
right.
y'all saved episode 6 for the 6th man, so that's dope.
Yeah, come on, man.
That's dope. Okay, Hoop Narrative, man. We out.